Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday. I am your host, James Chen, and we're going to be talking about a fun little conversation here, and that is one and dones. I've been seeing some people talk about this online. It hasn't been one of the crazy blow-up things in the FGC tends to do, but I've been seeing this discussion, and it's a really interesting discussion because I kind of fall under this category as well. Someone was tweeting out or wrote on Facebook, I can't remember. They were just like, why is everybody so mad at people who won and done? Like, why do people hate people who won and done so much? Like, why do people give so much crap to one and doners, kind of things like that? Because they're like, look, I just want to play a different character, or I don't want to fight this character anymore. I have millions of reasons why I won and done people. Why does everyone frown upon it, make you look bad, etc., etc.? It's an interesting question because I do the same thing. Like when I play online on stream, I'm like, oh, really? Word? One game? That's it? You're done? Okay. And the funny thing about it is it's really because it feels like you're quitting. Like it feels like you gave up. It feels like you are scared. Like every time anyone won and dones, it just feels like there's some negative motivation behind it. Right? Like, what is a positive motivation for one and doneing somebody, Like, maybe, oh, dude, you're too good. Good job. Like, maybe I'll run into you again. But, like, most of the time you see it, you feel like instantly, like, if they win and leave, you're like, oh, gonna take your points and run, huh? Or if they play and then if lose and quit, you're like, come on, man, you want to learn the matchup, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it always feels like there's some kind of excuse. And yeah, there is, the concept of a breach of etiquette, unless the connection is ass, like Lurker Fine said. But I have also found out that every time the connection is ass, nobody actually does the hold start button to do a no contest for the match. Nobody does that. I don't know why. I think it's just because if the connection's bad, that probably means the player doesn't have a lot of good connections. And if they actually do the no contest, they probably never get to play. So I have a little empathy towards that. But seriously, the one and doners, like every time I play, like the whole point of fighting games is to learn, is to adapt, is to grow. Like, I was playing Under Night ranked recently, and like I had the ranked spread from S tier to D tier, D being the worst, S obviously being the greatest. And so I ran into some S tier players, I ran into some B tier players, and they were destroying me. But I would just keep playing them because I want to see if there's any kind of an adaptation or any growth or anything I might be able to learn from that. I still run it back all the time. And again, it feels like it's the right thing to do, to play that. But yeah, again, so someone in the chat Axio asks, why do people feel entitled to another person's time, though? And this is the questions that we have to start asking, how we have to start thinking, right? This kind of goes back to the conversations, is FGC too toxic? Are we like too much? Like, yo, bro, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you running away, you coward? Like kind of thing, like, maybe it is a little toxic. I mean, maybe you really do hate fighting people playing modern controls or special controls in Tekken. And yeah, I mean, Olaf says not everyone wants to improve. Some people only want to win, for sure. And it really, really, comes down to maybe we have to rethink this. Maybe we have to start treating it differently or thinking about it differently because we are in a different time, and who knows why someone won's and done. We never know. Maybe you fight somebody and they fight you, and then all of a sudden they're getting a text from their friend and they're like, holy crap. And then or they get a text, your food is here, Uber Eats is here, and they're like, after the game is done, they go and quit and leave. And they run and they go get their food, and you're like, what? Why, you coward? Like, there could be a billion reasons why someone ones and dones, unless you run into the same guy who won and dones every single time. But again, even if you do, should we be making fun of them? Should we be making fun? Should we treat them as negatively as possible? Like I said, I have been. I certainly have. Every time I'm streaming and someone one and done's like, oh really, huh? Like when I fight a Guile and I beat you with Kimberly and then you one and done. I'm like, really? You're gonna one and done a winning matchup for you? Is that how it works here? I see it. I see you, you coward. You're like, I do it too. Because it just doesn't feel like it feels like you're supposed to continue to play. That's the norm. That's the etiquette that we have, that you give everybody their 2-game chances or the 2 out of 3 chances. But again, like some people are saying, like, should we even take online that seriously? You know, should we? But at the same time, that same person in the chat says one and doners are frustrating, you know, because you do deserve a chance at a run back. Or, you know, or frankly, even if I beat you and you leave, I'd like you to practice as well. I'd like you to learn as well. Even when I win and you one and done, I see it as a negative. You know, I'm always like, dude, come on. Come back and fight, you know, try. Don't be scared of this character. Don't run away from Zangief, you know, kind of things like that. It's weird because, again, when you play online, everything that you picture the opponent doing is always geared to the negative. One of the reasons why we get salty when we play fighting games online is because every time we feel like we lose, we feel like the other person is laughing at us and being like, ah, this guy sucks. I just kicked his ass, you know. Whereas, you know, like I died to this Gordo a million times online, and there was one point in time he was just repeating the same sequence on me and I couldn't escape. You know, and I could see it like, God, this guy's just trolling me. Why is he treating me like this? Doesn't he realize I'm a D-rank player? At the same time, he could have been over there going, look, man, I'm just going to keep doing this until you find a way out. I want you to learn. I want you to learn. You know, you know, so, you know, it might not even be as bad as we think about it. You know, honestly, I've done that to people before. When I played them online, I would do the same thing over and over and over again because I was trying to teach. I was hoping that they would find a way out of that situation. That's how Cigar Bob used to play HDR. See, this is the problem. I think also because we're old school and we have this mentality, you know, where, you know, some people did talk trash, you know, we feel like everybody's always talking trash on the other side, and it's just kind of pervade through, and that's why we all feel that way. So yeah, see, and I hate getting one and done when I lose because I feel like they're saying, wow, this guy is trash, nothing to learn here, and then I feel bad. And it's just weird because, like, when it happens, we picture the most negative thing immediately. And while I will say the majority of the one and dones out there, you know, I said maybe they were trying to get their Uber Eats or whatever like that. The majority of them probably are something to the effect of, you know, hell no, I don't want to fight Zangief again, or I hate modern players, or, you know, you just spammed one move, I hate you, you're a scrub, and they leave because they're salty. I mean, that's still going to be the majority of the case, but are we entitled to everybody's time? Are we entitled to everybody's time? You know, that's the question. That really is the question out there. The old school mentality in me, I mean, it really makes me want to say, like, don't one and done. Like, even if you lose, take the time to try to figure stuff out. You know, take the next match then to experiment. You know, instead of trying to win, take the second match and try doing things that you normally wouldn't do and see if they work. Go ahead and do that. When I was fighting that Gordo, I ran into him like 7 times. And every time I ran into him, I would try something different. I would try different counters in different situations. I would try to adapt to things, you know, and even if you're getting beat up, you know, there's still a worth experiment right there. And the online points are online points. Who cares about online points? Really just try not to care about that. And if you win and you won and done because you're like, oh, yo, it was close and I got his points. I don't want to lose points because I think he'll beat me the next 2. You know, I mean, again, the points aren't that important, man. Just play, keep learning, keep getting stronger. You could beat him again and actually gain even more points, honestly. So, you know, while ranked gamifies earning the points, it really shouldn't be your main purpose. So again, the old schooler in me says, don't one and done. It is etiquette to give people the run back. And that's the thing too, is if you are better than somebody and you are slaughtering them, give them the chance to play again, man. Don't just leave. Give them the chance to learn and to grow. They might have just had one particularly bad game, and then all of a sudden the next game they do way better because they're just like, shit, okay, let me reorient myself, kind of things like that. So, yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people aren't tournament players. They just want to have fun, and maybe fighting Zangief isn't fun. Maybe fighting Modern Luke isn't fun. And so for them, they're just going to leave. And again, for the most part, I want to start trying to change the fact, I don't want to chastise these people and say like, coward, bum, come back and fight like a man, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just be like, hey, look, you really should consider rematching. You really should consider its growth. It's fun. You give the other person more opportunity to do stuff, stuff like that. And I think it is better to run the whole set, but I'm gonna try not to be so down on people who do, one and done as much. If I'm in the salty heat of the moment, I'll still get mad at it. It's hard for me not to. Again, my old school mentality. But what if they put a separate mode like set mode? I mean, honestly, once you get into Master in Street Fighter 6, I feel like it should just force you into a 2 out of 3. Like, I just feel like that should just be the case. Because if you're getting up to Master by that point, I mean, you should be good enough to run sets of 2 out of 3. And if you leave early on, the next game acts like a loss, basically. You just basically give the other person a free win. The only hard part about that is the worry about boosting, but you can boost similarly. Actually, that's not going to change boosting because you can do that anyway. The chances of you running into exactly who you want is very, very rare. So, are there one and doners in this chat? I mean, we don't have to expose any one and doners in this chat right now. So, but I mean, even in the arcade, it was only one and done, right? We only had one and done. The only thing that you did was go get a quarter and put the quarter up on the machine to show that you were jumping back in. That was the difference, right? But if you played a game and left, it was just like, okay, he was probably just there for he wasn't here for the arcade. He's got other things to do. So, yeah, absolutely. And again, done it out of salt on a losing streak, and that's understandable. Again, emotions are emotions, man. Like, again, people see me. I mean, I keep talking about how I keep getting mad when I'm playing online, even though I'm doing fine. Like, I lost to this Gordeau who was like B ranked and I'm D ranked. Here's the first day that I've played Under Night again in like 3 years. And I was getting salty at myself. I to get to Master with Zangief, I beat a Ryu who was a Master when I was Diamond. And I beat a Ryu player who was a known, very strong fighting game player based off of the handle. And after I beat him, I was like, I bet you that wasn't actually him. That was probably somebody else. Like, I just refuse to actually believe I did anything good, man. I'm just that way to myself. I'm just emotional and I'm salty and I'm very imposter syndrome. So, different people have different mentalities. So, if we're all here just to have fun, maybe making fun of the one and doners isn't the right way to go. Maybe this isn't the right way to do it. But like I said, we should still encourage that you run the set. Absolutely run the set. I have fought people before that have one and done, and I was like, oh, no, don't go. Like, you were doing fine. Like, come back, play. You were doing great, kind of things like that. So, oh, man. And again, sometimes if someone's doing something super gimmicky to you, maybe that's like I said, maybe that's them going, here, I'm doing this to you. Learn to fight a way out of this, or you should learn to fight a way out of it. Because anything that's gimmicky and can be spammed is defeatable. That is the nature of fighting games. And again, I know I've said this a million times, but that's just how you have to approach it. Anything spammable and gimmicky is beatable. If it's not, we would see it all the time in tournaments. That's the answer. If you are losing to, I'll use Tekken 7 as example. If you are losing to Lucky Chloe's Power Crush over and over and over again because it absorbs your hits and it's not punishable on block, and this Lucky Chloe is spamming it against you, and you can't beat it, if you don't see Lucky Chloe spamming that Power Crush at every tournament, it's not broken. It's clearly beatable. And I didn't know how to beat it until someone said Lucky Chloe's Power Crush is a high, duck, and punish. And I was like, it's a high? And they're like, yeah, it's just a high. Just duck it and punish it. And I was like, what? So, again, if somebody is spamming something and it's killing you, take the time to research it, learn how to beat it. If it's unbeatable, everyone will be doing it at the tournaments and winning with it. And everybody will be calling for its nerf. So that's kind of how you have to think about it. So when you play fighting games, always understand that everything is beatable. That's not true, as we've seen from Leroy / Tanya / Predator / Alien, / CVS1, Nako, etc., etc. But if it is broken, you'll know it, and everybody will be talking about it. So you don't have to be mad that it's broken, because everybody's mad that it's broken. But if you're losing to it and it's not being done everywhere, there's a way around it. Take the time to learn it. So if you do get killed by someone doing something, the same thing over and over again, spamming the same thing repeatedly, don't think of it as like, this guy is a cheater, he's boring, he's whatever, jerk, I hate him, I'm not going to play him again. Play him again with the expectation that you will lose again. Play again with the expectation that you will lose again, but just start trying crazy things against this single move that he spammed. Try to duck it, try to backdash it, try to beat it, try to sidestep it, try to do all sorts of things to it, and go in there with the expectation that you're going to lose. I do that a lot when I go and play in these ranked matches. I get salty about it because it's just my nature, and it's hard for me not to get salty and not to cry and whine about it. But literally, when I go and fight like that B or S ranked players on Under Night, I go with the rematch with the intention, with the expectation of losing. I'm not going to try to lose. I'm going to try to win, but I have the expectation of losing to find out if I can learn how to beat something that they're doing, or if I can learn how to react to things. I tried jumping away from Gordeau's overhead reset that the guy did to me a million times, and it turned out the overhead hit me out of the air, hard knocked me down, and he was able to combo off of it anyway. And yes, I did get very salty that I couldn't jump away from an overhead, and I died anyway, but still, I learned that you can't jump away from the overhead, and I'm never going to try that again. Oh, God. Any case, Sagat, for example, great example of a character that literally, yes, everybody knows can spam something and is really kind of broken. So, asking a player to go in with the expectation of losing is a big ask. Most people will play a match because they think a win is not an impossibility. Absolutely. But if you fight somebody and get your ass whooped by them, chances are if you rematch against them, you'll probably get your ass whooped by them again. And instead of seeing it as, God, I'm going to lose ranked points, go in there and try, right? The first time you fight somebody, you have the expectation of winning. Absolutely. That's how you should go in. You should go into every match in rank going, I am going to kick this guy's ass, because that is how you should approach fighting games, because you want to be able to win. But if you do get your ass kicked and you feel like, man, I'm not even worth fighting this guy, and he rematches, just go in there and just try crazy things. I mean, it's funny, when I'm playing in the Battle Hub, you can see a lot of people are like this. So like sometimes I'll be playing in the Battle Hub and someone fights me and clearly they're outmatched. Like, clearly they're outmatched. And I'm just absolutely destroying them in the first game. And after the match is done, you see they just kind of hover. They don't pick the option. They don't pick the leave. They don't pick the rematch. They sit there. And then I pick rematch, and they're like, oh. And then they rematch. And then I start to play them. I fought a Ryu who swept all the time. So I just blocked his sweep and kept punishing him over and over and over again, hoping to teach him that he should stop sweeping. But I rematched him like 7 times. I was just there trying to teach him. And every time he would wait till I rematched before he rematched, you know. And sometimes that's just what it is. You're trying to help people learn. So, you know, even if you lose to someone really badly, if they rematch, they're willing to try to help you learn. Go for it again. Even if you know you're going to lose, go for it again. I was sad because someone eventually challenged me and kicked that guy off the cabinet, so I didn't have a chance to go and try to type to him and say anything to him because of the way that Battle Hub works, unfortunately. I was like typing a message and it sent me into the next match. Right, yeah. See, John the Automaton says, I do wait for better players to rematch because I don't want to burden them with a boring set. But yeah, that's absolutely an option. Just wait, see if they rematch. If they rematch and you see that they're willing to do it, go for it. So, looking at it from the other side, though, if someone is winning using a gimmick, why are they expected to give you the opportunity to learn it instead of running off and do it to another fresh person? Yeah, I mean, again, there's nothing that you're going to be able to do. And shout outs to official S tier. What's going on, sir? How you doing? Makers of the best rugs and blankets and stuff in the FGC. But again, you know, for those who want to spam a gimmick and win, they're clearly griefers, right? Like, that's just what they're there for. They're there to make people mad. And you're never going to get away from those people. And if somebody does that and they play and they run away, it's like, whatever. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Those are the bad people. Like, what I'm saying here is not that there are no bad people online, no griefers, and, you know, that everyone's wonderful. Not that there isn't assholes online. There's plenty of assholes out there. But, you know, again, you have to, that's just the nature, that's human nature. You're not going to get away from that no matter what game you play. People really do not like fighting Dalsum. Yeah, absolutely. And, D Park fan? D is that a K-pop singer? D Park? I don't know. But as a Zangief player, I get it. Nobody likes fighting Zangief either. When I play Zangief online, I get more one and dones than you can humanly imagine. Nobody wants to fight Zangief. Dalsum is the same thing. And that's why, you know, people make the claim that Dalsum and Zangief should never be the best characters in the game because they are make you quit characters. They are characters that make you quit, you know, because they are annoying to fight because nobody... Again, the reason why people hate fighting them is because zoners and grapplers are the archetype where blocking is not safe. That's my theory. Is that blocking doesn't work against those archetypes, and that's really, really annoying, honestly. So, Sentient 12, EVO 2024 at Las Vegas Comic-Con Convention Center. Finals is going to be at the same place. Exact same place. Yeah, official S tier. And speaking of EVO and going to EVO and buying cool shit at EVO, official S tier has been a vendor at EVO for at least the past couple years, I believe. And again, sells awesome blankets and rugs and stuff like that. Really, really, really awesome quality of stuff. So, yeah, all 3 days at the same place is such a blessing for vendors and artist alleys and stuff like that. So, but in any case, yeah, I encourage you not to one and done. I'm not going to be here and saying like one and done is A-okay, you know. I still don't like it. I still don't think you should one and done. Every human is different. If you one and done, maybe you have a reason. If you are a griefer or an asshole, you know, that's fine, whatever. You can't fight them. They're going to do what they're going to do. but I'm gonna try not to be so derogatory to one and doneers at this point. But again, if you can, please try to run the full set, because even if they beat you up badly, you can learn, experiment. Don't try to win. Try to find out what you can do to the thing that they're blowing you up with. If you've beaten the guy and they, well, you can't do anything if they one and done on you that way. But even if you do beat the guy and you feel like you want to one and done them, give them a chance to fight back. It's just, that's etiquette. That's the only part where I can talk about etiquette. You don't have to do it. You should do it because we should be more welcoming and friendly online. So if you do beat someone and just hate their Dulcim or Zangief and want a one and done, give them the chance to play you again, even if it means you might lose. Like I said, that's etiquette. But again, etiquette is something that is not law. It is not enforced. No one can enforce it on you. It's just, it's the nicer thing to do. And clearly the world is not about trying to stick to the nicer thing to do. But, if you ever are in that situation, just consider giving the person the run back, because you might learn something from it too. Because if they do adapt and beat you, they might be using a tactic that you weren't aware of that will help you learn to beat future players using that character and stuff like that. It's always a learning process. It's always a learning process. So I one and done Ken and Leo players. Can I understand? Can I understand? I haven't played Guilty Gear Strive Online such a long time that it's hard for me to say anything about Leos here. So you just know when they're doing it to be a chicken. Maybe. Any case, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, we're going to be finishing a little early today because we started a little early today, and it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode here, unless anybody has anything else they want to discuss. But that's going to be the end of this segment over here. Thank you guys for tuning in once again to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen. If you guys like this and are enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. And also, I do want to take a little bit of a poll here. You guys can talk about this in the chat. Obviously, most people have already shut off the YouTube video because that's what people do once you realize the video is coming to an end. But for those of you loyal viewers who have actually been watching this whole entire time and continuing to watch over here on Twitch as well, if I did get an editor and started editing these episodes down so it's less repetitive and it's shorter on the YouTube channel, is that something you guys would prefer, having these episodes be shorter? Also, a lot of things that, a lot of times when people do these kind of edits, they like to throw in little comedy bits or like little clips, references like SpongeBob clips or, things like that to spice up the video. Do you guys like that stuff, or do you guys prefer not to have those kind of interstitials? It's the meme injection. Do you guys like the meme injections, or do you not like the meme injections? I would really curious. So you like long format? People are saying no memes because obviously my audience is a certain way. What's up, Jinx Deli? How you doing? People saying no memes in general. So they are effective for popularity. Some people are saying no memes, please. I mean, we could try it. We could try it once and see what people think. But some people are saying they do like the long format. Interesting. Yeah, this has always been the toughest things because obviously my audience and my stream is, catered to the long format, and cutting things shorter is definitely, a different audience, but what also might get me more views. So it's always a tough situation. It's always a tough situation to figure out how to handle that situation. So, because honestly, I need the it's crazy. I took a 1 week break during New Year's, and again, the views for the stream just plummeted. Every time I take 1 week break, my views just instantly die. Like, you cannot take a vacation at all. Like, I was getting around 2 to 3K views on videos. I took a vacation and then it's all back down to 1K again. And so, like, I'm just trying to figure out a way to keep up the view count and try to keep the revenue rolling in for the YouTube feed. It's really, really hard. So, but yeah, maybe trying different things, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, there we go. That's it for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. And regardless of it's clipped or edited or has memes or injections or short or long form or whatever like that, this podcast still, the day that it graced your ears, the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.